It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's another edition of Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. Anthony Floyer here, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting maybe the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we will catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. But yeah, a lot of things to that need to be addressed here this evening. And without any further ado, let's start off with one hell of a lead story, and a lead story that you know um, makes all of us very, very happy. A little more than 2 months from now, we will be ready to embark on another NFL season, but this will be the biggest NFL season to date. The first NFL season in which we will have 17 games over 18 weeks. But the big story that just came out this week, all 32 teams will be allowed to have their stadiums in full capacity. Full capacity for all stadiums this upcoming season. The 2020 NFL season transpired in a damn near morgue. Teams played in empty stadiums. Crowd noise was pumped in like every home team was the Atlanta Falcons. Clumps of fans casually littered the stadium as the season progressed, but it was sporadic. Football was good. It was still the game we love, but it was missing something. That will change in the 2021 NFL season. It was the Indianapolis Colts who finished the puzzle after they received approval from their governing body. The entire NFL has now been approved to have all 32 stadiums at full capacity for the upcoming NFL season. Fans will be allowed to attend training camps and attend home games like they used to. How the local cities make this happen will be dependent on their own rules. Will you be required to bring in a vaccine card? Will you have to wear a mask? Will fans have to stand 6 feet apart in the snack bar line? All of this will be figured out come August. For now, we know that football will truly be back once the regular season kicks off in September. A little more than 2 months from now, Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that first game. So get ready, Raymond James Stadium. Get ready, Arrowhead Stadium. The newly named Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Yes, all stadiums, every single NFL stadium will be operating at full capacity. And to be honest, for me, I mean, it's going to be great to see it all. But I think MF and I, and we're definitely going to be in agreement on what I'm about to say here. There are two particular stadiums that we cannot wait to see operate at full capacity. Those stadiums being the home of Super Bowl 56, SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California, the home of the Rams and the Chargers, and the other, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the home of the Raiders. But we don't even have to wait for football. August 21st, WWE SummerSlam. That's where it's going to be. That's Saturday night, August 21st. That's going to be at full capacity. So I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. I mean, it's going to be amazing. But my gosh, I mean, last season, we were all happy to have football, but it was. I mean, it just wasn't the same without the fans. I mean, seeing these games all go down in empty stadiums, even though some of them did have limited fans, such as Indianapolis and Jacksonville, Kansas City, just to name a few. And then in the postseason, some fans were allowed to come in. I mean, Buffalo. You remember Buffalo had limited fans, and then the limited fans, increased through each round, and of course the Super Bowl. We had 25,000 for the Super Bowl in Tampa. So, I mean, it was a fun season, yes, but but it just wasn't the same without the fans. And I'm just so glad that 2 months and change from now, we're going to get to welcome the fans back. And I can't wait to see Buffalo at full capacity. I know MF cannot wait to see Hard Rock in Miami full capacity. And I know Bullock feels the same way about seeing Gillette back at full capacity. But we feel that way about all the stadiums. But the two most anticipated for me, like I said, SoFi and Allegiant. I want to see what those two look like with full capacity. That's going to be insane. I can't wait. So I'm very happy about this, and it's clear as day. I mean, even though last season was great, I mean, it was fun. This upcoming season, I think it's going to be the most fun yet. With the extra game, the 17th game, 18 weeks, every stadium at full capacity. Let's go, man! I can't wait. So I can't wait for that first game when MF and I, when we do our hello friends and all that good stuff. I mean, it'll be so nice to have it in front of full fans instead of either an empty stadium or limited fans. But we did what we had to do. We got through it. Now it's time for the real fun to begin. So there isn't much more to say. MF, I mean, I'm excited to see Buffalo at full capacity. Bullock's excited about Gillette. How excited are you going to be to see your stadium, your team stadium, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami operating once again? And of course, Allegiant and SoFi. That's going to be epic.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, when we first came in, there was really anything that I would say, and I was very excited to hear the fact that we were going to do this. And yeah, this was as good as anything that we imagined. And yeah, ecstatic, overcome, very excited. Um, yeah, at the end of the day, when we heard that Miami was gonna, because remember, Miami was one of those few stadiums that actually did play with a number of fans. We had like 17,500 at our games. So for me, this was a big deal. This was a big moment for all of us, and I was ecstatic, happy to see that the Miami Dolphins, that now every team is going to get an opportunity, and I can't wait. And like you said, now we're going to get to play in a stadium with all the fans. It could start in preseason. We'll go from there, and we'll see. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Like you said, very, very, very excited.
Allegiant and SoFi, though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild.
I mean, like I said, we don't even have to wait long for Allegiant SummerSlam.
No, we don't
forget that. So, so we're gonna get our first look at Allegiant with real fans inside. Although I think UNLV had limited fans for some games, but my goodness, it's gonna be amazing, and we cannot wait. So so with that being said, let's get into our next big story here, and just bear with me for a moment here. Okay, here we go. I just want to make sure I have the correct order here from the docket here that I put in. Okay. All right. The other big story that we're going to be addressing this evening, well, huge story anyway. The MLB All-Star starters. They were announced they were announced earlier this evening, a couple hours or so ago, a big special over on ESPN. And we'll go by the positions, and and take it from there. In no particular order, the votes have been tallied, and now we know the starters for the 2021 All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. That will take place on Tuesday, July 13th from Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, the home of the Rockies. And here we go, in no particular order. The catchers. The catcher for the American League, Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals. National League catcher, Buster Posey, San Francisco Giants. First base, the American League first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Toronto Blue Jays. National League first baseman, go nuts, MF, it's your boy, Freddie Freeman from your Atlanta Braves. Second base, from the American League, Marcus Semien, Toronto Blue Jays. National League second base, Adam Frazier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Third base, from the American League, if Bullock were here, I would be telling him to go nuts because it's his boy, Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox. And from the National League, Nolan Arenado of the St. Louis Cardinals. Shortstop, American League, go nuts again, Bullock, your boy, Xander Bogaerts, Boston Red Sox. And from the National League, no big surprise, Fernando Tatis Jr., San Diego Padres. For the outfield, American League, Mike Trout, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Aaron Judge from my New York Yankees. Teoscar Hernandez of the Toronto Blue Jays. And rounding it out for the National League, MF, your other boy, Ronald Acuna Jr., Atlanta Braves. Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker, both from the Cincinnati Reds. So there is one thing we need to know before I give it to MF, and that is Mike Trout. He's on the 60-day injured list and will not be eligible until after the All-Star break. But he was the leading vote getter among AL outfielders. Baseball's best player, keeps his streak alive of earning an All-Star game nod in each of his eligible seasons as a big leaguer. Debuted early in July 2011, and there was no game last year. Obviously, you know the reason for that. So we may have to find a replacement for him. I mean, it could be Byron Buxton of the Minnesota Twins, Michael Brantley of the Houston Astros, Cedric Mullins of the Baltimore Orioles, Randall Grichuk of the Toronto Blue Jays, Adolis Garcia, Texas Rangers, or Alex Verdugo of the Boston Red Sox. I think we might need to find an injury replacement for Trout. But that's all there is to it to say on that. MF, you heard the All-Star starters, and I know you've got to be very pleased about your two best players, Freddie Freeman and Ronald Acuna Jr., both well-deserved.
Yeah, no, both well-deserved, both an honorable moment for them. And, yeah, that was a big moment for them. That was a huge get-to-get. And, yeah, very happy, very proud for both guys. But the All-Stars, there wasn't really that many surprises here. I think all the guys who were projected to make it made it. Aaron Judge, I mean, he's been one of the bright spot for the New York Yankees for a number of years. So, yeah, congratulations to him for making it. And I think, honestly, with everything that went down, yeah, he did an incredible job, no doubt about it. And I don't think there's really anything else to show. So, yeah, I think everybody who made it is well-deserving. And now we got to see what the rest of the roster looks like. Who are going to be the reserves? You know, who's going to get the nod into the All-Star game? And we'll find that out, I believe, on Sunday, actually. We'll get to hear the remainder of the All-Star teams. And then, like we said, next week is going to be the great normally the next week, I think it's the week after, the best week of them all, because then we set up for the Home Run Derby. We do the All-Star game. So this is the best. Yeah, this is the best time for baseball. So it's going to be fun. So we got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yep, and this is when we traditionally start our baseball coverage, you know. We do the Home Run Derby, and we also do the All-Star game. And, I mean, it's going to be so awesome to we did it in Denver once. I mean, you remember 1998. I mean, highest scoring All-Star game in history, with the American League winning 13-8, and an amazing night that was. But anyways, just throw it out there. Salvador Perez, 10 seasons, nearly 1,000 games behind the plate into his career. He's arguably better than ever with the bat. He entered tonight slugging .515 with 19 homers in this season after putting up a .633 mark in last year's shortened season, and was third across the majors in total hard hit balls in play. Buster Posey opted not to play in the pandemic shortened season last year, and he rejuvenated his career in terms of offensive production upon his return, looking more like the catcher who won the NL MVP award in 2012. Entering tonight, he was hitting .330, .418, .560 with 12 homers, as many homers as he hit in 2018 and 19 combined, if you can believe that. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., after a 2-year loading stage, right where many expected him to be as an all-star, and maybe even beyond expectations, since he was this year's leading vote getter across both leagues. Youngest player ever to lead MLB in all-star voting. Guerrero entered tonight tied for second in the majors with 26 home runs. Freddie Freeman, the reigning NL MVP, not off to as good of a start as he'd like, but subpar for him, is all-star caliber nonetheless. He had an .843 OPS with 17 homers entering play tonight, and thanks to a big Phase 2 turnout for Freeman, he surpassed runner-up Max Muncy of your world champion LA Dodgers and Anthony Rizzo of the Chicago Cubs. Marcus Semien, one of 3 Blue Jays to nab a starting spot most of any club in either league, led off with a homer tonight to become the first second baseman to 20 taters, and he's red hot after winning the AL Player of the Month in May. Adam Frazier enjoying a breakout season, entering tonight hitting .327, .395, .471 with an 11.1% strikeout rate in an era of slugging and strikeouts. Frazier is about as tough to fan as they come. He got a late push to overtake the Braves' Ozzie Albies, who led after Phase 1 of voting. Vladimir Guerrero, Trevor Semien, and Rafael Devers give the AL 3 first-time All-Stars in its starting infield. Devers also clubbed his 20th homer of the year tonight and leads the majors in RBIs. It appears 2020 was just an aberration because after his worst offensive season in the majors, Nolan Arenado has regained his RBI machine form, entering his return to Colorado tonight with 16 homers and 52 RBI. Thanks to a Phase 2 surge that sent him past the Cubs' Chris Bryant, who led after Phase 1, Arenado will be starting in the Midsummer Classic in a familiar spot, the hot corner at Coors Field. The Blue Jays will man the right side of the AL infield, and the rival Boston Red Sox claimed both left side spots. Bogart's last Midsummer Classic starting assignment came back in 2016 when he was 23. Catcher Christian Vasquez and pitchers Matt Barnes and Eduardo Rodriguez are the only other members of that 16 Red Sox roster who are still with the team. I mean, it's hard to believe that this will be Tatis's first All-Star game. But with the pandemic canceling last year's game, Tatis will make his All-Star debut after receiving more votes than any other National League player. He went into tonight's action leading the majors with an incredible .705 slugging percentage while leading the NL in homers. I already talked about Mike Trout. Aaron Judge, the Yankee season hasn't gone according to plan so far, but Judge is doing his thing. New York's hulking slugger has put up 18 homers and has 38 barrels. StatCast term for batted balls most likely to do damage based on exit velocity and launch angle to rank third across the majors. Teoscar Hernandez, most surprising AL starter. His spot didn't come easy, claimed it by fewer than 5,000 votes after placing 8th among outfielders after the first update Tuesday and entering tonight's final day of voting in 4th. Still, Hernandez has earned this spot with a .302, .344, .492 line, 11 homers and 47 RBI while protecting Guerrero in the Toronto lineup. Ronald Acuna Jr., you got to talk about consistency. He entered play tonight with an identical OPS to last season's .987, and he's, of course, well on his way to his second 30-homer, 30-steal campaign, and perhaps even his first 40-40 campaign. We knew Nick Castellanos was among the game's best hitters, but he's taken it to a whole new level this season, going into tonight with an MLB-leading .346 batting average to go along with a 1.002 OPS. He also had the most hits, 102, and doubles, 27 in baseball. And Jesse Winker, 2 red starters in the All-Star game, as Castellanos will see a familiar face in the cavernous Coors Field outfield. Much like teammate Castellanos, Winker has taken his offensive production to another level this year, already setting career highs in homers with 19 entering tonight and RBIs 48 entering tonight. So, oh, and I forgot about the designated hitters. I do apologize. The American League does have a designated hitter, and no big surprise, it's Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. JD Martinez and Yordan Alvarez have enjoyed strong seasons for their clubs, but come on, there's no way one could fill out the AL starting lineup without including Ohtani, the headlining story of this season, as he leads the world with 28 homers at the plate and owns a 3.60 ERA and 83 strikeouts across 60 innings on the mound. Between his participation in the T-Mobile Home Run Derby and his starting assignment as the DH in the All-Star game the next night, Ohtani has a chance to put his stamp all over this year's Midsummer Classic. And for the National League, the manager is going to select the designated hitter. So that's all there is to say on that. So All-Star game presented by MasterCard will be played on Tuesday, July 3rd, or July 13th, rather, at Coors Field in Denver. Televised nationally by Fox Sports and all over the world. So we cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's really all there is to say on that. So not much more to say here. And for the remainder of the show, we're going to be talking all about the NHL, and we talk about the inaugural head coach of the brand new Seattle Kraken franchise. His name is Dave Hakstol. He was an assistant coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs the past 2 years, previously coached the Philadelphia Flyers for 3.5 seasons before he was fired in the 18-19 season. When he was hired by Philly in 2015, Hakstol, a longtime coach at the University of North Dakota, became the first head coach to jump from the NCAA to the NHL in 33 years. The Kraken begin playing next season as the NHL's 32nd franchise. They will hold their expansion draft on July 21st, using the same rules as when the Vegas Golden Knights joined the league in 2017. And that's all there is to say there. Hakstol was the head coach at North Dakota for 11 years, a native of Warburg, Alberta, Canada. 30 of his players at North Dakota went on to play in the NHL, including Blackhawks captain Jonathan Toews and Capitals winger TJ Oshie. He was also named a finalist for National Coach of the Year in 8 of his 11 seasons, and he compiled a .289, 143, and 43 record, a win percentage of .654. North Dakota reached the Frozen Four 7 times under Hakstol, the most of any program during that span. Hakstol went 134, 101, and 42 in his 3+ seasons with the Flyers, took them to the playoffs twice, although they were eliminated in the first round each time. And he's been coaching hockey across the NHL, NCAA, and USHL for 26 consecutive seasons. So sounds like a good fit to me. I don't know much about him until I just read that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Last time we saw a team in an inaugural season, that was the Vegas Golden Knights, and look what they did. They went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know if the Seattle Kraken can do that, but then again, stranger things have happened. So, that's all there is to say on that. So congratulations, Coach Hakstol. Best of luck to you in this exciting endeavor. And now we just find out who will be on the team come July 21st. So not much more to say. MF, Dave Hakstol, the inaugural head coach of the brand new Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, big honor for him. Normally, when you start out as a head coach of a brand new team, you never know what the expectations are. Obviously, the ultimate expectation is what happened a year ago with the Vegas Golden Knights to go all the way to the Stanley Cup Final and maybe do some damage there. At the end of the day, I mean, they did pretty well. So there's really nothing more to add here. And Anthony, like you said, big moment for him. And now we just got to see how this plays. So, yeah, nothing more to say. And, yeah, it's all yours, bro.
All right. And next up, two more items on the docket. And next up, we are going to address the 2021 NHL award winners. There was they announced awards all over the place, over the last couple of weeks, and we have our winners, and we're gonna go from bottom to top. The Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award, awarded to Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins. The Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy, dedication to hockey, Oscar Lindblom of the Philadelphia Flyers. The King Clancy Memorial Trophy for humanitarian contributions, Pekka Rinne of the Nashville Predators. The Willie O'Ree Community Hero Award, awarded to the Hockey Education Reaching Out Society heroes, Kevin Hodgson. The Jim Gregory General Manager of the Year Award, Lou Lamoriello of the New York Islanders. The Lady Byng Trophy for the most gentlemanly player in the NHL went to Jakub Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes. The Frank J. Selke Trophy for the best defensive forward, Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers. The Jack Adams Award for the Coach of the Year, that went to Rod Brindamore of the Carolina Hurricanes. The Calder Memorial Trophy for Rookie of the Year, Kirill Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild. The Ted Lindsay Award for Most Outstanding Player went to Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. The Vezina Trophy for the league's best goaltender, Marc-Andre Fleury of the Vegas Golden Knights. The James Norris Memorial Trophy for Best Defenseman, awarded to Adam Fox of the New York Rangers. And rounding it out, the most prestigious of them all, the Hart Memorial Trophy for Most Valuable Player, Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. And really no big surprise there. So that's all there is to say on that. So MF, you heard the winners. I mean, we had a behind the scenes chat, last night briefly, talking about, well, we're happy for all the winners, but we're especially happy for our boy Adam Fox of the New York Rangers, winning the Norris Award for Best Defenseman, and he had it awarded, and it was awarded to him by the great Brian Leetch. I mean, yeah, Brian Leetch, the heart and soul of the 1994 Stanley Cup Championship team, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner that year, and rightfully so. And but as great as that was, Connor McDavid, though, for what he did, 105 points in 56 games. Just imagine what he could have done in a full 82.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen in hockey. Probably the greatest runs, probably we never see ever again. But you never know. With Connor McDavid, anything's possible. Yeah, it was an incredible. It was a great run. It was a great thing for him last season. Adam Fox wins the Norris Trophy in his second year in the league. Here's an interesting fact, and Anthony, I don't know if you know this. Guess who was the other player that won the Norris Trophy in his second year?
Was it Brian? No, it wasn't Brian Leetch.
No. You're not going to believe who it is.
Try me.
Number 4, Bobby Orr from the Boston Bruins.
Oh, wow.
And we all know what his career ended up being for the Boston Bruins. Now imagine Adam Fox having a career like that. The Rangers would love it forever. So absolutely, it was incredible. All the winners are all well deserving. Marc-Andre Fleury winning for the Vezina, which is one of the most highly coveted awards. Like we said, there's a few awards out there that are very highly coveted. Art Ross, the Norris Trophy, the Vezina Trophy, Jack Adams Award. Yes, the Lady Byng, which is a kind of a nod, wink to myself and Anthony, because we always kind of we kind of strive to be the Lady Byng, the most gentleman-like player in the league. So, yeah.
Especially in our school days, yes.
Yes, especially in our school days. Yes. No, all the guys who are well deserving. Congratulations to all the winners. Nothing more to say. Anthony Folio, is yours.
And there is one thing I want to address before I give you my thoughts. From the NBA this evening, the Milwaukee Bucks defeat the Atlanta Hawks 123-112. Bucks lead the Eastern Conference Finals 3-2, and they can close it out in Atlanta in Game 6 on Saturday night. So, we'll see what happens with that. But for right now, Connor McDavid, I mean, after what he did this past season, 105 points in 56 games. The all-time record, Wayne Gretzky had it, 212 points in the 1981-1982 season. That was the year he scored a ridiculous 92 goals and had 120 assists. You're never going to see numbers like that again. The only way you will is if you play the video game, and that's pretty much the only way you'll see numbers like that again. But anyways, I mean, I'm not at all surprised with that. Adam Fox, a New York Ranger, winning the Norris. I mean, joining Brian Leetch and a couple others from yesteryear. I mean, it's one thing to have it, but on top of that, I mean, and to have it awarded to him by Brian Leetch, I mean, what an honor. That's awesome. I mean, everybody knows Brian Leetch was the heart and soul of the 1994 Stanley Cup champion New York Rangers when he won the Conn Smythe Trophy, and rightfully so. You could have made an argument for Adam Graves that year. You also could have made an argument for Mark Messier. Maybe you could have made an argument for Mike Richter, but to me, Leetch was hands down the one who deserved that honor. But anyways, but Adam Fox, I mean, big moment for him, and doing it in his second year. The other was Bobby Orr. Oh my God, that is as elite as you can get. I mean, we know what Bobby Orr was capable of back in the 70s. MF and I we were not blessed to see him play in his heyday. I mean, that would have been awesome if we did. We've only seen, videos on YouTube and all that, but he was a stud, let me tell you. Marc-Andre Fleury winning the Vezina. I mean, MF and I used to despise this guy when he was in Pittsburgh. I mean, he made life miserable for the Rangers as well as other teams when he was in Pittsburgh. Still doing the same thing in Vegas. But nonetheless, congratulations, Marc-Andre Fleury winning the Vezina. McDavid also won the Ted Lindsay Award for the most outstanding player. Kaprizov winning the Calder. I mean, he had a great rookie year. Coach Brindamore, Rod Brindamore, winning the Jack Adams Award. I mean, Coach of the Year, the same team that, he was the captain of. He was the captain of the Carolina Hurricane team that won the Stanley Cup in 2006. He was the team captain, and now he's the coach, and he's done great things for that team. And, they were a fun team to watch this year. They lost in the second round to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that team's going to be around for a long time, especially with that young core, Sebastian Aho leading the way. Yeah, they're going to be scary good for years to come. Barkov winning the Selke for Florida, great year for him. Slavin didn't get much penalty time, and he was very gentlemanly. Lou Lamoriello, we know the work he did, especially his days as the architect of the New Jersey Devils. Those 3 Stanley Cup teams in 1995, 2000, and 2003. I mean, he was the architect behind those teams and bringing that same success from Jersey to Long Island. And that Islander team is going to be scary good for years to come. I mean, each of the last 2 years, making it to the conference to the Final Four. So maybe they'll get over the hump one day. You never know. Pekka Rinne with the Clancy. I mean, that's a humanitarian award, as is Kevin Hodgson. Oscar Lindblom from Philly winning the Masterton. And Patrice Bergeron, Boston Bruins, winning the Mark Messier Leadership Award. I mean, yes, Brian Leetch, was, was he was the technical guy. He was the speedster for that Stanley Cup team. And but for me, the heart and soul of that team really was Mark Messier. I mean, he had the heart of a champion, and he was the leader. He was the captain of that Ranger team, and he exemplified leadership in a way that was inspiring to both of us. And Patrice Bergeron, I mean, having taken over the captaincy after Zdeno Chara left to go to Washington, I mean, he stepped up in a big way, and he is so beloved in Boston. I mean, anybody who's a diehard Bruin fan, like your Michael Bullocks and your Derek Ferreras and our other good friend Ryan Avedisian. I mean, he's always had special words and always had positive remarks about Patrice Bergeron, and I know Ryan Avedisian's got to be pleased about that honor. I mean, he said Patrice Bergeron was his favorite Bruins player, so I'm sure he's got to be very pleased about how that turned out. So, congratulations to all the winners, well deserved, and we'll wait and see. So, not much more to say except now let's get into the main event of the evening, the preview of the 2021 Stanley Cup Finals. That started this past Monday night. We have two teams left, and it's for the first time since 1980 that we are not having an Eastern Conference champion versus a Western Conference champion. Both of these teams are technically both out of the Eastern Conference. It is your reigning and defending Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning, squaring off against the upstart Montreal Canadiens. Game 1 was this past Monday night in Tampa, and the Tampa Bay Lightning won the game by a score of 5-1. Game 2 was last night, also in Tampa. Tampa Bay Lightning also won that game by a score of 3-1. So the Tampa Bay Lightning are up 2-0. The series shifts to Montreal, Game 3 tomorrow night. And from here on out, the first two games were on the NBC Sports Network. But starting tomorrow night and for the remainder of the series, all Stanley Cup final games will be broadcast on NBC, the mothership. So get ready. Game 3 will be tomorrow night in Montreal. Game 4 will be Monday night, also in Montreal. If there should be a Game 5, it'll be back in Tampa Bay on Wednesday night. Game 6, if it's needed, will be in Montreal next Friday night, July 9th. And if there needs to be a winner-take-all Game 7, it will take place on Sunday night, July 11th, at a special start time of 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be on NBC, and it will also be on Peacock as well. So, with all that being said, let's dive right on in. One of the most bizarre and winding NHL seasons of all time will reach its conclusion with a surprising Stanley Cup final that will feature a Canadian team for the first time since 2011 when the Vancouver Canucks got there. Two teams from what is normally the Eastern Conference and perhaps most normally the defending Stanley Cup champion. The Montreal Canadiens and Tampa Bay Lightning going head-to-head in this best-of-7 championship series that started Monday night in Tampa. That the Lightning are there is no surprise. The defending champs didn't have the best regular season performance, but they have been on a roll in the playoffs, as expected. Meanwhile, the Canadiens were counted out before the playoffs even started. They looked like their stay would be brief when they trailed the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1 in their first-round series, but stormed back to stun the top team in the All-Canadian North Division and has continued to roll, proving any and all doubters wrong along the way. Once again, Montreal will enter this series as an underdog, with their fair share of non-believers. Though they face many tough tests in this postseason, their toughest foe awaits. Tampa Bay has not lost consecutive games in these playoffs, ranked second among all playoff teams with an average of 3.22 goals a game and 2.06 goals against a game, while boasting 5 of the top 6 scorers in the playoffs. After a season of so much uncertainty and even some disruption, this postseason has provided nonstop entertainment. And as the puck drops on this final series, here's a look at a few things to know and watch for. Number 1, epic goalie battle. While there are many stars in the series, two of the biggest and most important will be the heavily padded men guarding their respective nets. Carey Price of Montreal and Andre Vasilevsky of Tampa Bay are two of the world's best goalies. According to the NHL, this series will mark the first time two former Vezina Trophy winners will go head-to-head in a Stanley Cup final since Dominik Hasek of the Buffalo Sabres squared off with Eddie Belfour of the Stars in 1999. Price won the award in 2015, the same year he was voted the league's MVP and won the Hart Trophy. Vasilevsky won his first Vezina in 2019 and was a finalist for the award again this season. In these playoffs, Vasilevsky and Price have been hands down the two best goalies playing. Vasilevsky leads all goalies with a .936 save percentage and 4 shutouts in 18 starts, while Price has a .934 mark and 1 shutout in 17 games. They have been the last line of defense for their teams and a big reason both have reached this stage. It's an interesting dynamic as Price was the de facto best goalie in the world for the better part of the last decade. But over the last 3 or 4 seasons, Vasilevsky has staked a pretty significant claim to that title. This series may end up being used as a referendum on that ongoing status. But no matter how you slice it, if you love goaltending, there's no way you can look away from this series. These are two of the very best. Number 2, special team showdown. The Tampa Bay Lightning have scored on 37.7% of their power plays they've gotten in these playoffs. Even though fewer penalties are usually called in the final, it's been almost automatic. However, even more automatic has been the Canadiens' seemingly impenetrable penalty kill, which has squashed a staggering 93.5% of shorthanded situations. It could be one of the defining battles of this series. The Lightning's Braden Point has 7 power play goals on his own. Teammates Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, and Alex Killorn each have 4, while defenseman Victor Hedman has 11 assists on the man advantage. That's a lot of different weapons you have to be aware of. That's why Carey Price is so important. He has stopped 60 of 63 shots when the other team is on the power play. Good for a .952 save percentage. That's a ridiculous figure. While Montreal's PK structure is so sound, it makes it harder on the opposition once you cut through that. You still have to try to shoot a puck through the wall that is Price. It's going to be very fun to see these two special teams units go head-to-head. Number 3, Montreal's kids are all right. 3 of the most important pieces of the Canadiens' offensive attack in this postseason are 21 or younger. Nick Suzuki is second on the team with 13 points in 17 games. Rookie Cole Caulfield, who had 10 games of NHL experience going into the playoffs, scored 4 goals in the last series alone and is tied for third on the team with 9 points. Meanwhile, Jesperi Kotkaniemi has 5 goals and 7 points in 16 contests these playoffs. Suzuki and Caulfield in particular took over segments of the last series. Caulfield scored a crucial goal in Game 6 against the Vegas Golden Knights and has factored in multiple big goals of the playoffs, whether scoring or assisting on them. Suzuki, despite his youth, is becoming one of the better two-way centers out there. This series is going to offer a significant challenge, but the biggest question so many of us had was if Montreal could score. The addition of Caulfield has almost single-handedly quieted those fears, as the 20-year-old, who spent most of the season playing at the University of Wisconsin before signing with the Habs, has been automatic of late. All 3 of those players look to be significant pieces of Montreal's future, but it's been absolutely remarkable to see how much they've impacted their present. Number 4, Tampa Bay's quest for dominance. Winning back-to-back Stanley Cups was looking impossible in the salary cap era, with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2016 and 2017 proving that it could be done. The Tampa Bay Lightning now have a chance to be the second to accomplish that with no signs of slowing down. The Lightning have players that have taken over this postseason. Braden Point is 5 goals short of tying the all-time record for goals in a single postseason, which is co-held by Reggie Leach of the 1976 Philadelphia Flyers and Yari Curry of the 1985 Edmonton Oilers. Point is on some kind of run, the likes of which we have not seen since the 2009 Stanley Cup playoffs when Sidney Crosby scored 15. Nikita Kucherov, who said he was good to go for the Stanley Cup final after playing in Game 7 against the New York Islanders, despite leaving Game 6 with an apparent injury, is also putting up silly numbers. He currently has 27 points, 22 of which are assists. It is a continuation of what he did en route to the Stanley Cup last season when he put up 34 points. Only 7 players in the salary cap era have topped 30 points in a single postseason, one of whom is Kucherov. It looks like he could be the first to do it twice if he's healthy enough. Lastly, He doesn't show up on the score sheet a whole bunch, but depth forward Patrick Maroon has a chance to do something that has not been accomplished since 1983. If the Lightning win the Stanley Cup, Maroon will be the first NHL player to win 3 consecutive Stanley Cups as an individual since several on the 1983 New York Islanders team. Maroon won his first cup with the St. Louis Blues in 2019, then won with Tampa in 2020, and could make it a very, very rare three-peat for an individual player. As far as who I have winning this series and winning the Stanley Cup, the Montreal Canadiens have made a habit of making experts look awfully foolish, especially me. I've picked against them every single series, and I've been wrong every single time. However, this series feels different. The Tampa Bay Lightning are a different animal than anything they faced. First off, they've won it. They know what it takes. Additionally, Tampa just got a very good preview of what this series will be like when they play the New York Islanders, which is one of the tightest defensive teams. While the Lightning haven't gone head-to-head with Carey Price yet this season, I'm not sure Price has enough to keep this magical run going. The Lightning have too many weapons, too much depth, and a world-class goaltender. Initially, I thought Montreal would make this a real series. I think they could still make it a real series, but I see a repeat champion. Going into this series, I had the Tampa Bay Lightning winning it in 6 games, but it's 2-0. If Montreal wins tomorrow, maybe I'll still feel good about that. But if Tampa wins tomorrow and goes up 3-0, then it's going to be an open and shut series. I'll be surprised if we end up going back to Tampa. But no matter how you slice it, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning as your winners and still Stanley Cup champions. It's 6 for now, but I'm leaning. I might have to start leaning towards 4, maybe 5, if they win either tomorrow or Monday. So, but regardless, I got the Tampa Bay Lightning successfully defending the Stanley Cup and taking another step towards becoming the next great dynasty in the NHL. So there's not much for me to say. Doc, another final for us. We've done this so many times before. It's the most unusual final we've ever had. We've never done, 2 teams from the same conference doing this. It's always been East versus West every year, but the most unique Stanley Cup final we've ever had. Tampa's up 2-0. Tomorrow night must win for Montreal, or else this is going to be an open and shut series. So not much for me to say. The voice of the Stanley Cup finals for all these years. Doc, take it home.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is going to be a very interesting final, but going into this, it kind of felt like this was actually expected. I mean, the way Tampa came out, they really came out really good in the first game. A lot of people was like, well, what are they going to do in the second one? Well, we really didn't know for sure. But if you really watched the game last night, which I know, Anthony, you did periodically, I know you were going through, by AEW as well. But if you notice, Montreal was the better team last night. It's just that Tampa just made a couple of mistakes, or Montreal made a couple of mistakes, and it cost them huge. 2 bad goals that were turnovers in their own zone that you cannot do to Tampa. You cannot give them those type of opportunities, and they did. So at the end of the day, you're absolutely right, Anthony. Tampa had one of their worst performances last night and still won. That's crazy. I think Tampa will indeed get the job done. Tampa will win the Stanley Cup this year, and I do believe it will go either 4 or 5 right now. The way they've been playing, I honestly believe that if they get 1 in Montreal, they're going to finish them in Tampa Bay. I honestly believe that it will happen. I think it will be a gentleman's sweep. 5 games, Tampa wins the Stanley Cup. Anthony, take it home.
All right. And with that being said, that will indeed put the bow on this edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We will be back with you tomorrow night over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, for the return of the Cerebral Smack Talk in our traditional time slot tomorrow night at 10:30. The Cerebral Smack Talk returns. Friday night SmackDown. MF, what a show you got. I mean, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in a last man standing Money in the Bank qualifying match. Oh boy. And then obviously the latest with the saga with Roman Reigns and Edge and some other things. So that all goes down tomorrow night. If MF has anything in the Mikey's mindset, I'm sure he'll want to share that. And then Monday night, we do it all again. You know, we got Ridiculously Raw. Wednesday Night Mayhem with AEW Dynamite and NXT. And next week on this program, the only thing we have right now is our preview of the NBA Finals. That I know for a fact we will have a preview of the NBA Finals next week. If anything else should come in, we'll address that as well. And, you know, we'll figure something out. But for right now, it's all about the NBA Finals for right now. So, and then Cerebral Smack Talk, obviously, and then that's pretty much it. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, this is Anthony Florio here. For good old MF, Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, D.D. Woodson, and always and forever, the Yankee Messiah 401, Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. And bye, everybody. Bye.